So April, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Well,
Can you hear
hello.
me?
Yes, nice to finally meet you like in a
Nice to
person.
meet you.
What up, April?
Hey guys.
Well, let's start a little bit about kind of how long you've been here and just maybe a little bit of background before you got here. And we'll kind of start from there.
Okay. So I've been selling insurance since about 2006. I've always kind of done the telesales and things like that. It's just always kind of been my thing. And then I ended up getting married and we were expecting triplets. So I backed off from the insurance a little bit. I started breeding golden doodles. And when my kids got a little bit older, I actually sold Dean and Shauna a golden doodle and we started talking insurance.
Oh, that's
So all those cute puppies you see, those were mine.
oh my gosh.
Yep. Yep. So we started talking insurance and I had been wanting to I was itching to get back into it. And, he was talking about how great FFL was. And I ended up signing on with him and joining his team and never looked back since. This year's 2 years. Yeah. So it's been great.
That is awesome. I love it. So you're warm market.
Do it now.
So you're a warm market lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's right.
Means it's no shocker that someone that he recruits is gonna do a heck of a job, because he does, obviously. Yeah. And so last year, your first year here, what was your issue paid numbers last year?
I'm not sure the exact number. I think it was right around 236,000 for the. Okay. I think I had like 7.5 months before the year was over.
263 was her number.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 263. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah. And I got a lot of Dean to thank for a lot of that. He was great support from the very beginning. I mean, I remember, calling and texting him like, "Hey, I got somebody on the phone. I'm not really sure what company to put them with." I mean, he was there for me in a second, and I felt like that was really truly important. Because when I call, I like to kind of make it a one closed call if I can. Just because I've always had really good luck with that. So he's been a great mentor for me throughout this whole process.
So tell us a little bit about what type of leads that and it could be where you started, maybe where you've evolved to, or maybe it's always been kind of, let's talk a little bit about.
Yeah. So when I first started, I obviously started off like selling to family and friends and things like that. But then I started buying Happy Leads, and Happy Leads was kind of like my go-to. Over the past year and a half, I've been introduced more to Adam leads, and the CRM leads have been great for me. And then you guys came out with the YouTube leads and everything, and I've had a lot of success with those. I mean, they were just rolling in the last couple weeks. I think 2 weeks ago I did like 19, almost 20,000 in 1 week. So that was one of my bigger weeks I've ever had. And that was the week I got y'all's leads. Yep. So I recommend those.
You were like, "Girl, how do I get more of these?" I'm like, "Oh, let me out," because that's kind of we're just like rolling. We're like, "All right, can we get more?" And then Jacob, he's like, "Can I these a week?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let me ask the people." Like,
The only reason I backed off of them this past week is because I'm in the middle of moving, and I just had 2 surgeries, and so I was literally in my hospital bed calling leads that were coming to my phone, and I sold a policy there.
Oh my gosh, you're savage. Yeah. So, all right. So, and basically, just so people know, those other leads that you were calling were still Facebook leads, right? Like Happy Leads are Facebook leads, aren't they?
Yep, they're still Facebook leads. I started having a lot of issues with them, duplicates or just the wrong numbers, things like that. I mean, you're gonna always get issues like that, but my main advice would be, if you order a batch of leads, if you don't get them the first time, the second time, even the third time, just keep calling. If you called them that morning and you couldn't get them, try around lunchtime. If you can't get them at lunchtime or the morning, call that evening. Can't get them during the week, call them during the weekend. I mean, I literally work them until there's no other option. So
yeah, we always said work them. One thing's gonna happen: either they're dead or I'm dead. But somebody's gonna be dead. I'm right.
Right. That's right. That's right. I'm gonna get my $30 worth.
Right. So, okay. So tell us a little bit about your schedule. Obviously, you're on the road to Hall of Fame, and Hall of Fame is not like, it's well, you just said it. You're calling the leads nonstop until you resolve it, whatever that looks like. Tell us a bit about your schedule. And the good news is that like you just said, well, I wrote 20,000 this week. I was a little late because I was having surgery and moving. So it's like, thing about this business is that you get to do you, but you're intentional about all of this stuff. So and we have some questions, which thank you guys, just put the questions in the text and we'll answer those at the end. So thank you for that. So talk to us a little bit about what your schedule looks like as far as this road to Hall of Fame this year in 2023.
Okay. So I'll be honest, I go off a lot of my schedule of when my leads come in. And my kids go to school around, I get them to school at 8:10 every morning. After that, I go home and I start dialing. A lot of my older folks that I get, they're just like, don't wake me up, don't call me till after 10 o'clock. So sometimes I come up here where I'm at now to the clubhouse in my neighborhood and have some breakfast, then I'll hit it just different times. I try to make sure I'm calling at least 3 to 5 hours a day at least. But I'm able to do everything I want to. I don't miss anything with my kids. I don't miss ball games, homecomings. I kind of do it at my own pace, which is a little bit different than what most people have, like a set schedule every day. But I have to kind of work around my family and situations. So,
well, and that is the beauty about this business.
It is.
The piece that some people miss is sometimes they're so busy with the family that they forgot that you are phone nonstop 3 to 5 hours a day. And it could be on a Saturday and a Sunday too. I think when you that was a weekend day, and I was like, here, you're like, yep, I just sold a couple more, and it was Sunday afternoon. So it's like come in, or that's when you are getting after it. Now, the good news is that you have most of your leads set up on automation, like they're just automatically rolling, and so you don't have to think about it anymore to go in here. Oh, I think should I buy 15 of these and 10 of these, or it's just like it's just a reoccurring.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice. That actually took a lot of stress off of me as an agent because, I know Dean and I have talked before. He's like, he always told me kind of order your leads on a Saturday or Sunday. So they're rolling in Monday or Tuesday. But with you guys, the way I did it, I mean, it was constant. I was like, hey, I know we're watching a movie right now, but as soon as this is over, I got to go make my call. But I love it. I loved it.
And that is the good thing about it is that it's like, when Frank was a Hall of Fame producer several years in a row, and that we only had leads on automation. I never had to go in and wonder how many I should buy this week. And see those leads hit, I don't know what it is, but I started seeing leads hit my email, and I'm like jumping. I'm like, oh, we got to get moving. You know what I mean? Like you want to get out of bed. You see $1,000 of leads start hitting your account, and you start seeing all these leads rolling in. You will move quickly.
Yeah, those bonuses and stuff are nice when you're selling every month. I mean, that almost pays my mortgage every month, just the bonuses.
Yeah. So well, we're going to talk about that in seconds because I love to hear that. So I think the thing that you had said, and I think people need to understand, is as soon as you get the lead, you are calling it. We're not sitting on Monday's dial session. We're not waiting till Thursday when we feel like calling. Like it's like, let's go. We got leads right now. Let's go.
You can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I always, if, obviously there's gonna be times when I'm with my family and they're coming in and I'm not going to walk away from them. But for the most part, if the leads are coming in, I always try to call them within the first 5 to 10 minutes of getting it. Even if I have to run it up in my laptop real quick and just call them. If they don't answer, I'll call them later, but I try. That's huge, because more than likely these people are scrolling on Facebook, and if they filled out the information for your lead, they probably filled it out for 10 other companies. So you want to be the first one to get to them, because I have had where I've kind of put it off, and then they're like, oh, you got to me a little bit too late. I've already got my policy. I still try to sell it, but
That's right.
yeah, it's very important to try to get it while it's hot.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about script when calling your leads. First, let's talk a little bit about maybe the psychology behind what you say when you say it, and maybe, you know, kind of how you stage it, because this is a telesale. So obviously one call close is what we're trying to do right now. We've got them now. Yep. We might as well get out now. So if you could just kind of go through that mindset and kind of what you say.
Okay, so when I get my lead, I look at it, automatically look at, you know, how much they want, or if they have coverage or don't have coverage, and who their beneficiary is. So that's super important. That's like the key of the beginning of my phone call. So when I call them, you know, I'll be like, hey, Miss Brandy, this is April Turpin. I am with the final expense department and in the state of North Carolina, and I'm the agent that was assigned to give you a call. My North Carolina producer number is so-and-so, so-and-so. I was calling you because you had just recently filled out the information for the final expense coverage. And I was just curious, are you looking for coverage just for yourself, or for yourself and a family member? And then they'll answer one way or another. And then I'll say, okay, perfect. Now what we're going to do here is I'm going to get some quotes together for you, and we're going to see if we can get you taken care of. But first, I want to ask you, do you already have a policy, or will this be a policy that's going to take care of everything in case something were to happen to you? And then they'll say, no, I don't have any other coverage. Or if it says no coverage on the lead, I'll say, now I do see.
Uh-oh. Did we lose her?
Let's hope her iPad didn't die.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We'll give her a second. She was just getting into a rhythm.
I know. Well, the cool part is until she gets on, I'll give you guys a little bit of more of an insight on her. Like, it's crazy though. Like, I never have to talk to her, rarely, unless she really has a question that's not clear. But every day I'm like, dang, this girl just submitted another like $4 or $5 grand. Like, oh, another like 3, 4 grand. It's a daily habit for her. Like, it's ridiculous, like in a good way. And I'm like, does this girl ever sleep? She called me out of the hospital. Hey, I'm just letting you know I'm recovering, but I just helped somebody. I wrote like $3 grand. I'm like, what? You're in the hospital. Like, what is wrong with you?
Well, and Dean, just to note that.
Oh, that's it.
It's not if we don't, if we're not so surprised about what April's doing, I think more people would do it. Yes, she's amazing, but she's doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing. Right. Not like, and I think April would agree with that, right? You're not doing anything special.
No, nothing.
Dean, same thing. Like, people look at you and all going, wow, look at Dean. I'm going like, look at what? Like, my man works his ass off. If you worked your ass off, you'd have the same results. I mean, I love you, Dean, but right, you're not anything special other than you work harder than everybody else.
No.
I just get up every morning and go to work just like April does.
That's right. So go ahead, Jamie, you can finish. This is fire.
Yeah. Okay. We lost you at, so do you already have coverage, or is this going to be for you said, or was this going to be a policy that's going to cover the whole thing? That's where
yeah. Is this going to be just a supplemental policy, or is this going to be something that covers everything? And then they'll answer me, and I'll say, okay, perfect. And I do see here that you wanted your son to be the beneficiary. Is that correct? And then they'll say yes. And I'll say, and what was his name? So I make sure I have it in the paperwork here for your app. And then they'll give me his name. And is it okay if I go ahead and get his birthday? And they'll give me his birthday. And then I'll say, perfect. I see here that you don't currently have any major medical health issues, but do you have any heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, COPD, anything like that at all? And then they'll answer me and tell me. And then from that point on, whatever they say, I'll say, perfect. I think I have a great company that's going to fit you perfectly. It's going to give you immediate coverage. Sorry, stuff's popping up on my screen. It's going to give you ADD. Mm-hmm. It's going to give you immediate coverage. And if you'll give me a second here, I'll pull up those quotes so we can get you taken care of. I try to make it as simple as possible. They ask for the coverage coverage. And that's what I'm not trying to go into too much detail about everything else or sound like I'm reading from a piece of paper. I just literally talk to them as if they're my neighbor or my grandma or family member. Does that make sense?
Casual, direct.
Giving them exactly what they want, like nothing more. Just, this is what we're gonna get. We're gonna get you taken care of. Here's your benefits, and you're done.
What if the lead doesn't have the amount that they want? How do you figure that out?
So I ask, a lot of times I will ask in the beginning of the call after I say, so do you have any major medical issues, heart attack, strokes, diabetes? And then they'll say yes or no. I'll say, okay, perfect. And did you have a certain amount you were looking for? Because I didn't notice it on here when you were filling out your information. And I'm reminding them again that they filled out the information. You get what I'm saying? And then they'll say, well, I was only looking for around 10 or 20,000. And then I'll say, perfect. And I do ask sometimes, depending on the situation, I'll say, and also, do you have a certain monthly budget that you don't want to go over? Because I know everybody has a budget, including myself. And then they'll tell me, or either they won't tell me. And while I'm doing that, I'm looking up the quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that I know I'm not kind of going to cut my throat by, if it's $10,000 worth of coverage and they say they can only afford $50, and I might try to quote them a $7,000 and, talk about all the great benefits it has. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
yeah.
What is to the point where it might be a little too much? How do you kind of get back into where their honey spot would be budget?
So if they wanted 10,000 and they can really only afford around 7,000, I'll say, Miss Becker, I understand that you really want the $10,000 worth of coverage, and with the way inflation is these days, I can totally understand that. But the fact of the matter is, you have no coverage right now. And I'm sure your family or your son would really appreciate at least having something to put towards your burial, so that he's not hung out high and dry if something, God forbid, were to happen to you.
Okay. So you just back her right down.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah. And it's just, you're just so, like, you almost sound just nurturing. You sound like you care. I think some people miss the part that we are here to serve families and give them peace of mind that if tomorrow their life got upside down and now their family's financial burden, this isn't about a transaction. This is about a family going to be served today. And you, that vibe of like, you just genuinely care, soft voice that's like genuine, I guess is the best way.
And Jamie, like some of the small phrases, like I didn't notice that as far as the beneficiary goes. I mean, that's just it, instead of going, well, you didn't fill that out. It's just, it's so disarming. How long did it take you, April, to feel as comfortable as you are doing this?
Once I got out of my own head and just, I'll be honest, when I first started, not with Dean, but with a company a long time ago, they threw a script at me and they were like, you have to read it word for word. And I was like, Mike, I just can't do this. Like, it's just not me. I'm coming off as not genuine over the phone, and it's just not working for me. So once I kind of put that to the side and just tweaked it and made it my own, it probably took me about 6 months or so to really get comfortable.
Yeah. And I think people are willing to quit over 6 days.
Yeah, you gotta not get in your own head about it, and you gotta keep telling yourself, like, these people ask for your help, and not every phone call is going to be a sale. Not you can't get so discouraged. But you know what? If they say they're not interested right then, keep their information and call them back in 2 months. I do that before I hang up. I'm like, look, I know you're not interested right now. Finances might not be okay right this second, but I would love to help you in the future. If you don't mind saving my number, and I'll give you a call back in around 3 months or so, and maybe we can get you taken care of then.
Yeah. And how much of your business is that follow-up? Say, just percentage-wise, maybe 30% is on a follow-up and 70% is right now?
Probably. Yeah, that's around about right.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about how many leads do you think you get per week, or how much budget you allocate per week?
I probably spend, let's see, because I bought some happy leads on top of those, probably at least $1,000 a week to $1,500.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
For maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Someone else, I just saw that question come up a little bit ago. Back to this process of yours, after you've shown them the 10,000 or even had it back 7,000, how do you move into the application process?
So what I do is, when I give them the prices and I say, hey, this is $50 for $7,000 a month. Is that going to fit into your budget? And then they'll say, yeah, I think I can make that work. Well, perfect, Miss Becker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this application and we're going to go ahead and get you taken care of. Okay. That's it. I just go right into it. No.
Yeah. Do you ask the questions on the application a certain way, or do you just say every single time? Date of birth.
Do what now?
Do you ask the information on the application a certain way? Like, do you do it the same way every time, or is it just like whatever the app for that carrier shows, that's how you?
Yeah, it depends on the person too that I'm talking to. It takes some time sometimes with the people that I'm talking with, because I guess what people don't see is when I'm talking to the customer, if they sound off or say they don't feel good, then I kind of feed into it and I'm like, well, what's wrong? I'm sorry you're not having a good day. If you lived a little bit closer, maybe I could bring you some chicken soup. Like, I try to just talk to them, because 60% of these people they're alone. So yeah, I just kind of go along with the questions, but I try to not sound like I'm reading them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I would assume too, based on the rapport and the way you make them feel so warm and like trusting, that it's like, even when you like, because I think sometimes people like stumble around with maybe the social or the banking, personal. I think if it sounds like you make them feel so comfortable and you just feel so warm and casual that they feel comfortable. I don't know, maybe that's what I'm getting from you when I go through this.
Yeah. Now, and with the application, when it gets to the social part and things like that. So I guess this is kind of what you were asking me a while ago. I didn't understand. So in the beginning of the application, it asked the first name, last name, height, weight, all that good stuff, address, social. So I do sometimes, depending on if they seem a little bit more hesitant, I do ask the height, weight, address, and all that first. And then I go to social, and then I say, and what's your social security number for the policy? So, because that is going to be what you're identified by. And then they'll give it to me or whatnot. But yeah. Okay. And then for the banking account, I'll just say, and will you be using a checking or savings account? And then they'll tell me, and I'll be like, okay, what's that number? But I just kind of try to be confident about it and not hesitant, and just go for it.
Yeah.
I feel like they can feel it.
Yeah. If you start to sound nervous or wishy-washy, your voice starts to get all crackly when you ask for it, they're not giving it to you. They are not.
And look, 40% of the time, I've been living in a townhouse right now, and it is loud in my house. I have 6-year-old triplets and a 13-year-old daughter, and we are all crammed in like 3 rooms right now until our house is ready in 2 days. And you can hear them from the other room. So I tell them right off the bat, I'm so sorry if you can hear my kids. I have been working home today, and I'm doing the best I can. And
love that.
People love it though. They it makes them know that I'm normal. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. People want people like themselves. They don't want a robot salesperson. They want to deal with.
It's very important. Yep.
Yeah. So this training, this is so real and authentic. And I think anybody who's getting involved in telesales or who's doing telesales right now can get behind. If not, get you the passport. Also, they just be you.
Yeah, just be you. Don't try to get on the phone and, you know, fake it. Just be yourself. If there's kids in the background, embrace it. Make something out of it positive. You know, there's so many times I'm just in the middle of an app and I'm like, oh my God, but I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Yeah. But they're like, honey, it's okay. I have grandkids, you know. Yeah. So you just got to go with it.
That's right. Well, let's talk. I think we just got a few more minutes. Let's talk a little bit about the fun stuff. So, I mean, there's some perks to do $40K a month, lady.
Yeah, there is.
Obviously, the money is great when the front writing a bunch of policies, right? But
right.
and they started throwing these other checks, and you're like, oh, where'd that come from? Oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, and then the crew, like, it's just like one thing to the next. So, what does a bonus look like for someone writing $40,000?
So I get an average of at least $1,200 a month. So next month I think I should be closer to the 2,000, which is nice. I'm excited about it. But yeah, it's nice.
That's right.
Like I said, it pays for, you know, half of my mortgage, so I'm good with that.
That's right. And not to mention kids, and that's a lot of mouths to feed. So
oh yes. Yeah.
If there's any other questions that maybe we didn't hit, and then we will wrap this up. So I don't know, Mike, you could probably see it better on your computer. I don't know if it's still here or still have it up, but I'm trying to thread through my phone here. Okay, we answered the question about how much in leads. Simplicity, yep. Can you share your script? We just did that. And this is recorded, so we can, you know, listen back.
There's a question here. It says, are you looking up quotes, or are you going right into that? Did we answer it?
Are we what now?
Do you quote first, or you just go right into the app and then quote? Or are you giving quotes first before you get into the application?
Yeah, so I I do the quote, and as soon as I do the quote and they say it sounds good, then I say, okay, perfect. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna pull up the application and we're gonna get you taken care of.
I think what's amazing, you just seem like you have so much fun with this. And I think so many people that get involved with this and they're so stressed out, but you've been doing it for a while. And I think if people just understood that the longer you do it, the easier it gets, and you make it look like it's just fun. Right. And you're not on this regimented schedule, and you're letting it work, you know, with your kids and what you have going on in your personal life. And I think it's awesome. I think if more people, but I do also understand it takes a little bit of time to be able to get into that. So the people that feel frustrated, if you look at where April is now, just realize that it gets easier every single day. And at some point you'll get to right where April is. It doesn't take forever, but you got to kind of go through some of the learning curve in the beginning to be able to get to where you are now. So I think it's great. So I appreciate what you're doing for the group. It's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Priscilla says she loves the Southern accent.
Yeah, I feel like if people don't put so much stress on themselves, it really shows through the conversations on the phone. Just be yourself and go with what you know, and you really can't go wrong. Awesome. I feel like.
All right. Well,
I'll add in something there. I want to add something because I watched April's journey. This can be relatable to everybody who's watching, whether you're new or seasoned. The cool part about what April's done, she never once questioned a single thing. She just did everything that was taught what to do. A lot of you guys question too much, in my opinion. Well, what about this? How about this? Stop overthinking it. Like, there's nothing to overthink. We have a simple job to do. If they don't acknowledge your call right away, well, call them back at another time. Like, there's times people are like, I'm not interested. Click. Okay, I'll door knock you. And I still sold it at the door. It's just the mentality of the approach, right? But one thing that April was really, really good at, she's like, well, what if I try this? Or how about I do that? I was like, she never did that once. I had people literally reach out, hey, I want to set up these campaigns. I want to set up a table at this gym and I want to do this. I'm like, why? You need money right now. Like, all that stuff you can do that at a later time, but you got to get paid now. And that's one of the things a lot of folks who are coming in here is like, well, what if I try to, like, don't reinvent the wheel. April never took a spoke out of the wheel to try to make it hers. She just literally rode the bike right away. And it's a result. You guys are following it. She's 361,000 year to date. I have every belief that if she doesn't get it in this last 4th week of the month, she's going to get it the 1st week of November on an issue pay production, crossing over into Hall of Fame. And I got to project her at 500K by the end of the year. She's that strong. She does an average of 45 to 50,000 issue paid on a really strong month when she's not dealing with hospital visits and all that. And she's been consistent. Like, she reaches out when she needs to. And literally, she's like a great example to follow, in my opinion, because she has adversity. She is a mom. She is a spouse. She's got responsibilities. I can't relate to that because I'm not a spouse. I don't have kids, but a lot of you guys can. And what I've witnessed her go through in the last little years, it's a night and day difference, like tremendous difference. So I'm proud of you, April.
Well, this has been a great call. We appreciate you jumping on, and thank you for doing what you're doing and sharing with us. And we look forward to seeing you get that red jacket.
I know, I'm excited. Thank you, guys. And if anybody ever has any questions, just feel free to reach out to me.
Love it. Appreciate
Thank you, April. You absolutely killed it.
Thank y'all so much.
Have a great night.
All right, y'all too.
See you guys next Monday.